Hello guys, welcome to my another new episode of interview. And in this interview, I have invited a guest from Vaasa, so who has living experience in Vaasa and who was a student in University of Vaasa. And most important, he was a friend and of course, still he is a friend. And he was a flatmate. We used to live in the same apartment when I used to live in Vaasa. So we lived there for more than 2 years. And yes, I was planning to interview this important guy. And today he got some time. So let's ask him some questions and so we can know about Vaasa and a living experience in Vaasa. So Julio, so welcome to my interview and welcome to my YouTube channel. So could you please introduce yourself to the viewers?
Oh, thank you, Mafus. Well, my name is Julio Serrano. I am, at the moment, I am an entrepreneur, and I have been living in Vaasa for the last 5 years. Actually, I made 5 years on August the 20th. Facebook was reminding me. So 5 years ago, I came here
Congratulations.
with only two bags and full of dreams, like everyone that come here. So yeah, it's been a long run.
Okay, so could you please tell about, so I know that you came from USA. So where did you live in USA? Can you tell to the viewers?
Originally, I am from El Salvador, which is a country in Latin America, and my mother tongue is Spanish. I actually learned English way later in my life, and I moved to the US because I got a scholarship for a American university where I study bachelor's in finance. Ave Maria University is an university in Florida. So yeah, I graduated, stayed there for a couple of years when I was going back and forward to my country until until one day I decided that I just wanted to stop working after 4 years. I worked for 4 years after graduation. So I just decided like, oh, I need to keep studying. I need to do my master's degree, but I didn't want to do it in the US because the US is quite expensive though. You gotta pay average an average master's degree in the US is about $50,000. So, and we're talking
50,000
about for 2 years, $50,000. That's more or less
is
the average. You can
tuition,
find ones
is it tuition fees?
tuition, everything. Let's say like everything, like tuition fees, room and board, like everything. It's about $50,000. That's the
Oh,
average. You
that's
can
a lot.
find some masters that are like 10,000 online. But if you really if you're studying there, if you're gonna stay there, if you wanna be competitive in the job market, you have to aim and you have to study into the best institution you can get in. So more or less, you're gonna end up paying that. And even if you don't have money, that's the thing. If you don't have money, you just sign a paper with the bank, and then you sell your soul to the devil. So when you
Yeah.
graduate, you have a big debt. And for instance, my bachelor's debt that I'm still carrying, well, it's still a little bit left, but I'm still carrying it after 10 years of graduating from bachelor. So it's really
Okay.
tough. So I made that decision that I didn't want to do it anymore in the US because it's pointless to add more debt. So I came to the conclusion that okay, some universities in Europe are tuition free.
Okay.
And I had at the beginning I had the experience from a cousin that studied in Germany, and I asked him like, "Hey, what's up, man? How's things in Germany? I want to study there." And he said like, "No, don't go there. It's too expensive."
You mean in Germany?
In Germany, that's what
Okay.
the guy told me. No, don't go to Germany. It's too expensive. This and that. And it's like, oh, really? Okay. So I just started like keep searching, and
But isn't
eventually
it
I
free education in Germany?
It is at the moment. I don't know right now, but at the
Okay.
moment we're talking about when I was doing the search was around 2014, 2015. So at
Okay.
the moment, the education was free, but the only but in Germany is that you need to learn you need to learn German because they don't have, or at the moment they didn't have like English programs. So you had to learn German, but it was not a big deal for me because I was just like, if I move to Germany, I will learn German. I will do whatever I need to do. But my cousin discouraged me when he said like, oh no, don't go there. It's too expensive. So okay, I keep searching, and I end up actually I back in the days, I don't know if it's still a thing, but there was this webpage called 9gag full of memes and stuff like that, and they were joking about education, and there was like the Finland country ball. Oh, I have the best education in the world, and we're talking about 2015 more or less. And it's like,
Yeah.
oh, that start ringing some bells. Oh, best education, what's that? I mean, at the moment they sell it as a best education, but it was actually that they had the best PISA index, which is an index that is used to measure how competent are the high school graduates. So, but in theory, you could say like, yeah, the best education in the world at the moment. So I decided to give it a try, and I found that there was actually was tuition free, and actually it was pretty much like I didn't have to pay anything besides my lodging, my stay, my food or rent or whatever you want to call it. But the
Yeah.
university was free, which was a big deal. So I made the call. I came. I mean, I apply. And was the only university that I applied was this University of Vaasa
Okay.
because actually the University of Vaasa is I mean the program here was the Master in Strategic Business Development, which sounds nice in paper, but it's just a Master in Management. But I was
Okay.
like, I mean, I was into it. I was like, I want to study that. It was because I was coming from 4 years of working, so I kind of had an idea what is it that I really wanted to do. So I got into that, and well, I just sold everything, came,
So
and
you
I
didn't
met you.
find
Yeah.
those kind of programs in another university in Finland?
To be honest, when I started like researching about where can I study in Finland after I realized about the high PISA score that this country had or has still has maybe, and I found this name, and I just my head was just caught into the name. It was like Master in Strategic Business Development. That was it. No, I want to study that. So I
Okay.
just apply. A couple of months later, to my
Yeah.
surprise, I got accepted because being accepted in a university, at least in the US, is not that easy. Like if you want to go to a good university, so that's a matter of celebration. You know, you're being accepted.
Yeah.
I'm being
Yeah.
accepted. I
True.
did
True.
nothing. I did nothing. I just fill up the forms. Pretty
Yeah.
much, you know this by now because you've been talking about this for a while in your channel. In Finland, as long as you have all the requirements, you're good to go.
That is true.
You
That is
you have all
true.
the requirements.
Yeah.
You have your language test, TOEFL, whatever you want to do. You have your scores, like I mean your grades.
CGPA.
You have passed everything. You have passed
Yeah.
everything, and you have a couple of recommendation letters if they ask. Some university doesn't ask that. That's it, man. That's it. You pass all the requirements. You're good to go.
Yeah.
Your university that you're coming from. In my case, it's an American university, so it was really easy for them to just check in the internet. Okay, it exists. But if
Yeah.
you're coming from a small country like my country, El Salvador, or I mean, Bangladesh is not a small country, but a university from there, they will be suspicious. Like, oh, this university is this real? But
Yeah. Yeah.
it doesn't
True.
really matter. I
It
mean,
happened. Yeah.
they end up yeah they end up corroborating what is going on. They end up knowing like, okay, this is true. This is university, and that's maybe that will be the only hiccup that you might have. But
Yeah.
after that, pretty easy to get in here. I mean, that's in my case. I know that the journey is different for everyone, and this is something that I repeat to all my immigrant friends. The
Yeah.
journey is different for everyone.
True. That is
So
true.
in my case, it was quite easy. So I was accepted. I was like, let's do it.
Let's do
Let's go.
it. Yeah. Great.
I,
So
I, I came here, man.
yeah.
I sorry.
No problem. Carry on.
Yeah, I was about to tell, like, I came here without knowing what Finland was, without knowing what the language was. In my mind, Finnish was kind of like a German, like Swedish, like, oh, a Germanic language, easy to learn. I didn't know anything about this country. When first time when I see the bus stop names, so a couple of things like, oh, what the fake I have done. So I shouldn't be.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that is true. So, Julio, share your experience about University of Vaasa. So, the education system in
mhm.
University of Vaasa, or compare maybe to your university in USA, how easy to study in Finland, or how
I want
difficult.
to I want to be fair, man. I want to be fair because I know this country has a lot of good things. University is completely, it's amazing. It's a nice, beautiful campus. The staff is competent, and everything there works, and it's really nice. But I want to be honest, man. Like, I think that because I had a bachelor's degree from the university in the US, where competitiveness is highly valued. So I had a really bad time during my bachelor's. By that I mean that I have to study a lot. I have to compete. I mean, the American mentality as that you have to be a shark and eat everyone else. It's not here. It's not present here. Here is different. Here is like we are all in the same boat, so we all have to keep the boat afloat so no one dies. So this is quite different philosophy here than the one in the US. So it's quite difficult to compare. But if I have to give you an honest opinion about what I have lived in the University of Vaasa, I mean, besides all the extracurricular activities that we had, which is going out with the friends, meeting new people, the new country, new city, new weather. Besides that, the university itself, for me, it was quite easy in comparison to my bachelor's degree. Easy in the way that maybe it was a continuation of what I did on my bachelor's degree at some degree, but I felt that it was quite easy, and that it's not only something that I felt. Some other classmates that I had, they felt like, okay, this is maybe not that challenging, but at the end, we end up understanding that it wasn't about memorizing the whole book.
Yeah,
The University of Vaasa, at least, I don't know if that's the style in whole Finland, but here it's like it's not about memorizing the book. It's about understanding what you're doing and knowing where to get the information from. So all the skills. If I had to say what was the thing that I learned and I really appreciate a lot from the university was the introduction to Finland that I had there. The introduction because I ultimately end up staying here, so which is not something that everyone does.
yeah,
So the introduction that I had to Finland into the business world and environment is highly valuable that I have from there. This what I'm telling you that the difference, the core difference between American philosophies, European philosophies, or even the Finnish philosophy, the Finnish way of doing business is completely different, completely different. So I will have to say that that was the thing that I value the most from the University of Vaasa, that I learned how to live and conduct business in Finland.
wow, great. It's a nice and good explanation. I like that. So, Julio, share your living experience in Vaasa as you are living there for 5 years. So, what do you think about Vaasa? Is it good for the foreigners, or just share your experience to the viewers?
Well, again, I'm gonna look to the camera when I say this. Again, I'm gonna repeat it. The journey is different for everyone. Okay, I can share you. For me, the journey has been amazing, man. It has been amazing. I came from zero and I started to climbing up the ladder. So not everyone is lucky enough to do that. But I'm gonna share you. I'm gonna start with this disclaimer because some people might listen to this and might say like, no, but that doesn't happen. But well, in my case, in my case, I mean, first of all, when I came, going back to the story that I came to Finland and I started from scratch, and when I first came to the room, to the room that we share, that as you said previously, we were roommates.
Yeah.
When I first came to the room, the first thing that I did is like I took off of the few stuff that I have on the bags, put them around nicely, and that's it. And I went to the supermarket.
Yeah.
And in the supermarket, I learned like, oh, what I have done. Like when I start seeing the prices, what is this? What 40 euros for that small piece of meat? What is that? And I remember the first thing that I did is like I messaged my cousin, the one that told me like that Germany was expensive,
Yeah.
and we have a very like a productive conversation full of bad words. Like, man, you have no idea, right?
Yeah.
This country is almost 3 times more expensive than Germany when I start comparing the prices.
Okay.
And well, but at the beginning, that was just a little shock, you know. It was just a little shock. They're like, okay, I, I had a bachelor in finance. I understand the financial aspect of the whole thing. It looks expensive, okay,
Yeah.
but when you have a salary and when you live here, and it's not, it becomes more manageable. The more you start climbing up into the ladder, like okay, I got this job and this and that, and then I start like doing good, having you start having like a, let's say, a 4K 5K euros per month salary. It
Yeah.
doesn't make any it's not going to break your bank if you go and get a 40 euros piece of meat, okay? So it's that's something that at the beginning I didn't understand well, but now I understand it better. But yeah, and for instance, I think I was very lucky to come to Vaasa like straight, because I have learned to love the city. And at the moment, I wouldn't like to move out, not even to Helsinki, man. Unless I'm
Okay.
forced. I'm forced, I'm in the situation that I need to go there. Because let's be honest, Helsinki is a city that has a lot of work, and the opportunities are way more. But here is the perfect combination of a small city. Well, let's say it's not a small city, it's not a big city.
Yeah.
It's in the middle, okay? So we still have a movie theater here. So, and
Yeah,
it's
that is
about
true.
like,
Yeah. And
yeah,
there are many foreigner students in Vaasa.
mm,
There are few universities and University of Applied Sciences in Vaasa.
one one fifth of the population of Vaasa are students.
Students. Okay.
So yeah, we're talking about the metropolitan area of Vaasa is 150,000 people. So we're talking about that 1/5 of that, which is what, about 30,000 more or less, give or take. 1/5 of that is our student, which means that 30,000 people are gone in summer, more or less talking. Okay, and out
Wow.
of those 30,000 people or 30,000 students, it's about 5% the international student community, and the international. Let's take to one side the international students
Yeah.
and just talk about foreigners in general.
Yeah.
Vaasa, Vaasa has like I think one of the highest on this region, not in Helsinki. Helsinki has different numbers, but in this region, it's about 8% of the population is foreigner. Was born outside of Finland.
Yeah.
About 8%. So
International students.
yeah, so we're talking about 20 to 25,000 people are international, not necessarily students. We're talking about people of international background that has born outside of Finland. So
Yeah.
about between 20 and 25,000 people in the Vaasa metropolitan area. We were talking about that this is quite a lot of people for this small city. So yeah, it's very international friendly. This is a city, as you know, but some other people don't know. This is a city that English is very friendly, and this is due to the fact that this is a bilingual city. This is a city that speaks Finnish and Swedish, and of course the Swedish speakers are a little bit of the minority. But if you go out in Vaasa, Swedish speaking people are the ones that go out. Swedish speaking people are the ones that spend money. Swedish speaking people, because Finnish. This is not the rule, but this is more or less the average. a Finnish person tends to stay at home, and a Swedish speaking person tends to go out, be more friendly, be more open. So you tend to see more Swedish speaking people in the city around, but in fact there's more Finnish speaking people. But since this is a bilingual city, so we have this the need of finding a common language, and Finland is really good in English. I mean, this is something that I got surprised when I came. Actually,
Yeah,
Finland is really good in English. Vaasa is better than the average, I will say, better than the average of the rest of Finland. Like, if, for instance, if you go to the neighbor city of Seinäjoki,
they don't
every
speak
other
English.
every other person would speak English to you. If you go to a small village,
Maybe Oulu,
forget about it.
maybe Lapland, maybe Oulu. Maybe if you
Yeah,
go to the north, then they speak less English.
no, even if you start going to the countryside, to the farmlands, like some cities nearby. I'm talking about the satellite cities around Vaasa, which are like Seinäjoki or Lapua or Laihia, or those cities. English is not a big it's not a big deal there.
Yeah,
So
that is true. That
that,
is true.
that's why I say, like, if you are someone that is currently planning to come to Vaasa and thinking about, is it friendly? Yes, it is. It will be better than many other cities in Finland. I don't like to talk about Helsinki because that's completely different out of the scope of this conversation, because we cannot compare both cities. But if you really want to come to Finland, you should think first of, okay, I like city, go to Helsinki, or I like to have a more relaxed, calm life, but still with the comforts of the city. Vaasa is a really good option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There is a great information for the viewers or for the newcomers. So Julio, share your experience about finding jobs in Vaasa. How did you find your first job, or was it difficult? Just share those information to the newcomers or students or viewers to my channel.
Yeah, sure. Well, I mean, I came with maybe 3 or 4 months worth of money,
Okay.
and maybe more. Maybe I could have stretched that budget that I brought for 1 year, but I was having a lot of party at the beginning. So I came in
I know
August.
that.
I
Yeah.
came in August, and around, let's say, November, I was already broke. So so I destroyed the money that I brought really quick. But that was because I had in mind this thing, like, I'm gonna get a job. For me, it's like pretty straightforward. Like, I'm there, I need to have an income, so I gotta get a job. So the first shock that I had when I came here is like, it's not that easy to get a job here at the beginning. But I think that it has to do a lot with your mentality. I think that the problem is not external; it's internal. Some people have a hard time looking for a job. It doesn't matter if it's a professional or an entry-level job or whatever job you're talking about. It's all about your mentality. Like, if you're new in this country, you need to be sure that you have to start from the bottom. So that's something that I also realized when I came. I mean, I came here not asking to be a manager in Telia or Elisa. No,
Yeah. Yeah.
I came here thinking, like, if I get a landscaping or gardening job, I'm gonna be happy. So I came here with the mentality that I will start. I will work in whatever job I can take, either if it's professional
Odd
or blue
jobs.
collar or
Odd,
just whatever job.
odd
So that
jobs. Yeah.
yeah, so that's the thing. So I that's what I would like to say to the people that are listening to us. If you really want to come and work, you have to change your mentality and come here like, okay, I'm not a princess. I'm here to work. I'm here to do whatever I can. Okay. Uh, and this is very important to understand, because most of the Finnish people, they have also start from the bottom. Like, we're talking about, like, people that when they are in the 14, 15 years old, they have jobs in the shops. They cut grass, they paint in summer. So this is a society that is already used to work in whatever, or start from the beginning. So you shouldn't be ashamed of that. There's a couple of people that I've met during this journey that are ashamed. No, I don't like to work in the restaurant, or I don't like to do that. Oh, yeah. You shouldn't be ashamed of that. Okay,
That
but
is true.
taking this to a side, because I wanted to say this straightforward. If you are coming here, if you have this success mentality, don't be ashamed of any job that you can do from the beginning, because you can get a job. I mean, although it's really hard to get a job, but you can get a job anywhere if you have the right mentality. So taking this to a side, yeah, I mean, as I said before, about November, I ran out of money. So I started like I was a photographer. I'm a photographer. At that moment, I was an amateur photographer. In the past, I have done a couple of like paid gigs. So naturally, the first thing that came to my mind, okay, I'm studying, and taking pictures will be nice to do it alongside the studies. And I tried to get a job in that. At the beginning, I couldn't get it because I didn't understand how the job market work here. I was just knocking doors and asking people, and it's not like that. I mean, if someone needs a photographer, they post it on the right channels. It's not that you can go and knock the door. Of course, you could be lucky that they need someone in the moment, but it doesn't work like that. So of course, I couldn't get a job in that, and of course, I remember one day I was drinking in one of the best clubs at the moment in Vaasa, which his name was Fontana. So I was talking to the bartender, if you guys need some help, and they say like, yeah, sure, you can start tomorrow if you want, just like that. Okay. So that was my first job. Actually, I was a bartender in a club here for like maybe what 8 months or something, and until summer came. And in summer, as I said before, 30,000 people leave this city. So everything is pretty much dead. So they didn't need extra bartenders.
So was it a part-time job or full-time job? Like,
Yeah, I was working a couple of days per week, mostly Friday and Saturday, or it could be that if that was a good week, maybe Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. That would be a good week. And maybe I remember, but mostly I was doing 2 days per week, and I think I was making something around 600 or 700 euros per month, which for me was completely fine.
yeah,
We were paying like 270 euros in that apartment that we were living in, because it was this share apartment, 3 room share apartment. So we were paying about 270 euros. So that was pretty cheap. And I learned that if I go to Lidl and I made 100 euros groceries, it's a lot of food. So I have food for the whole month. So the rest was just to keep the party
yeah,
on. So
yeah. I remember I used to work in the restaurant and I brought food from the restaurant and we keep it in the deep freeze. You remember?
yeah.
And we used to eat, so we didn't need to cook whole week.
Oh, but let me get there. We're gonna get there eventually. Yeah, you were helping a lot with that food, but uh, eventually I started working in another company. I think we both went to knock the door, like to UPC. We both. This is a
Yeah,
printing press, so you were also kind of like, I remember you were in the you were about to have your wedding or something, and you were trying to squeeze
yeah.
some money out from
Extra
whatever,
money.
from whatever you could. So I remember that I told you, because I was jobless. I didn't have a job, so I said like, I think it wasn't you or some friend that told us like, they need people there. So we just went there. And I remember you just knocking the door and just saying, like, I want a job. And I was like, what the fuck, man? You shouldn't say that. Let's just be cool. No, I want a job. And then the guy there right away just gave us the papers. We fill in. Can you start now? Yeah, sure. Let's do it. And it was pretty much like that. And actually, you did a couple of shifts there. I remember, but it was quite tough
I,
because it was
I, I worked there
overlapping.
for more than 1 month.
Yeah, it was overlapping a lot with your job at the
Yeah,
restaurant.
because I was working from 9 to 5 in the restaurant. And then I was working from 10 o'clock in the night, 10 to 7. So it was quite hard work. So after 1 month, I needed to leave that job. I remember, but I know that you continued with that job.
No, yeah, we haven't get there yet. But the thing is, like, yeah, we started doing that, and of course, this job that we were doing, this printing press, it was not glamorous. That was just like we were pretty much donkeys working there. Like, yeah,
Donkeys.
just putting things in our back and carrying it. Like, you can imagine like some donkeys moving things around. So that's what we were doing, and well, and I remember that then you got a job in Helsinki, and that was a big deal.
Yeah.
And about that time, you also became Finnish citizen, and that's something that I understand. The implication of becoming a Finnish citizen, I understand it until now, because now that I'm doing that process, I
Yeah.
know that you were in the same. I am in your shoes 4 years ago.
Yeah.
So pretty much you were already a citizen when you were like when you took your job.
Yeah. Yeah.
And of course, I remember telling you, tell your boss I prefer to have work in the restaurant than being here
Yeah.
1,000 times better. And of course, yeah, I started working after you left there. And again, not a glamorous job, man. That's the talking about washing dishes, okay?
Yeah.
And
Washing dishes, helping
really,
chefs.
you are wet. You are
Yeah.
wet. You are wet the whole day. Yeah, you
Yeah.
gotta realize. And the thing is, like, I had a couple of friends coming over to it, and there were just people like, Julio, you're working here. Oh, why? With their big badges from big companies like Barcelona, flashing it like you're working here. Oh, why? No, I'm just making my life,
Yeah.
and because that was a very public place, and it was funny to see that because
Yeah. People
I
like
was there like
500 to 1,000 people came every day in that lunch time. I remember 500 to 1,000 people.
I'm not sure right now, but it used to be. I think now that I'm someone that have traveled all over the place here, I think that, or maybe still is. I could be wrong, but at the moment, I think it was the biggest Lounas Ravintola in Pohjanmaa.
Lunch. Yeah. It's a lunch
Yeah,
restaurant.
in Pohjanmaa, and the place is amazing. The people there were amazing to me. Like the owner, the coworkers, everyone were like. I would say that's the only job that I kind of enjoy working with people,
Yeah.
because it was really nice to work with all the guys there, and the bosses, and the owners were great people, great people. The food amazing. The food was amazing, as you said. All the leftovers come to the Ampari. It come into
Okay.
the bucket, go to the
Yeah.
bucket
To
and
the
to home,
bucket.
and then yeah.
So I used to bring food from the restaurant, like I'm telling to my viewers. So when we had the shift is over, then there was food, and everybody, not only me, everybody took food for home, and we had this bucket, and we took bucket and we put every food, and we used to put in the freezer in our apartment, because me and Julio, we used to live in the same apartment, and we used to share that food for the whole week. It was interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and I kept doing that, and it was so funny because when I was taking all these buckets of food to home, at some point the fridge was full of buckets, so there was always something to take from, so something different. And I had neighbors,
Yeah.
friends, the girlfriends that I had, or whoever was with me at the moment. Like my sister came at that moment, because that's another thing. My sister came to Finland. Uh,
To study.
to study also, and she's
Yeah.
working already. But everyone, I'm talking about that, because of that job, maybe 7 to 10 people ate.
Yeah. And it's really uh, good food and really delicious food.
Yeah,
I
it was.
still
It is.
miss those foods. I still don't
I
find
go. I go
those kind of
actually.
food in Helsinki. If you come to Helsinki, and if you find that kind of restaurant in Helsinki, you don't find that food anywhere in Helsinki.
Yeah, for the people that are listening to us, I mean, the kind of food that they serve in this restaurant is like a homemade food, like Finnish homemade food, and the food is not very different. Uh, let's say that's something else that I was surprised that when I see the homemade food, the food that people eat daily here is not that different to the food that I was used to. We're talking about like stews or mashed potatoes or leque. They call it leque here, but schnitzel or milanese in Spanish. I mean, all the things that they were serving here, I was not strange to that, and it's really good. And actually, we should be sponsored by Kesmo, you know. And that place is really good. I still go once in a while, and just
Okay.
to mostly to say hi to people. But the food is good there, man. They have a new place actually, and the place is buffet.
Okay. Where is that place?
It's a new place in a new like a commercial area here in
Okay.
Vaasa, in
Wow.
Kivihaka.
So now they have
So
four branches.
no, they actually closed the one in Runsor because they had Runsor Police and Vaasa, Keskusta, and what was the other one?
There
Well,
was
I
an
don't remember.
Yeah, there was three. One is Runsor,
Yeah,
one.
not
Yeah. So now I
I
think
haven't. Maybe three. There are still three, maybe, but
okay.
that's a good place. So go to Kesmo in Vaasa when
Yeah.
you come.
Yeah. And look for
So
job. Look for job.
yeah, sure, and then try to ask for Julio or Wafus. We are good names there.
Yeah.
So the thing is, like after that, I actually was called back from UPC, the place where I was working before, because they needed to have someone like more like in a fixed position, and they thought of me and they offered me a little bit more of money, and I switched jobs, and yeah, I've been working there for maybe 2 years almost, and I quit. I actually quit on that job in March this year
So why did you
because
quit?
I started my own project, and as I
You
said before,
yeah.
I am I was an amateur photographer,
Yeah.
and I always wanted to find a job or work in that. And even though with the education that I had, which is in the business related, and I had a master in strategic business development, and even in that, it was really hard to get a job on that. You have to really spend a while to get a job in that field. If you are an engineer, if you are someone more into the technical stuff, Finland is more friendly for those kind of jobs. But the business world, there's a lot of competition in here. So at some point, I decided if the mountain doesn't come to me, Julio goes to the mountain. So if I'm gonna build my own thing. So I came out with the idea: how can I make money working and doing what I love,
Yeah.
but at the same time making the same or more money that I was making at the moment. Uh, and I found out that there's a genre of photography which is called real estate photography. This is for instance, when you see architectural magazines, or when you see like a 3 million euros home being sold on the internet and they have really nice pictures.
Yeah.
So I started like realizing who makes that, how much money do they make, and I realized, oh my God, every day there's a house. Every day there's a house people need to sell, and you cannot come if you are like a real estate company. You cannot come and just take the pictures with your phone and that's it and put it online. Oh, your customer will expect something professional. So I found it, and I found my own niche, and my niche was like to work with the real estate companies. I started talking to them. I got my first job, my first gig. I offered to a real estate company, I will do it for free. If you like it, you hire me. That's it. And that was it. I mean, they liked it. And then as a photographer, it's not very hard to learn a new thing, because in the same photography world, you only need to change your perspective, and then you're in a different genre. Uh, I was coming from landscaping, from portraits, from weddings, and moving into real estate was not a big deal. It's just like learn how to put the camera, what lights to use, and that's it.
Yeah.
Uh,
And you also
we have
taught me
start,
something about this photography. You
yeah,
remember?
yeah, I remember we had really good, nice conversation with it, and also in real estate photography, you use a lot this little guide. I mean, this the drones.
Yeah.
That's something that I really love, man. I like to fly drones, and I do it every day, man. Every day I fly the drone. That's nice because when I offer a package to my clients, okay, the package is like I take the pictures of the inside of the house, the outside, and also the drone and the surroundings. And I show in the drone the interesting areas, like if the house is close to the city, if there's a shop, if the sea or a lake, or I just try to give a different perspective so they can maximize the amount of calls they will get from that place when they put it online. So what I do is like I have become the agent that get them money. So I understood already that my business is so essential to real estate companies that they cannot live without me. I can live without them, but they cannot live without me. So
Yeah.
that's something that whoever is going to make a business, you have to think about the strategy that you're going to have. Like there is one thing that is called the blue ocean strategy. The blue ocean strategy is a blue, nice, beautiful ocean. And there is like the red ocean strategy that's full of blood because everyone is killing each other. So you should find a line of business if you're going to start your company. You should find a line of business that is a blue ocean that has not many competitors that you are good at. And you're going to have fun and it's going to stay blue for a long time. Oh, you're going to be good. So I found my blue ocean and it's been working since March. Well, I've been doing this since November last year, but in March is when I decided, okay, I can live with this only, so I can just quit this job. And I came from working because I was working like a workaholic before, from working 60 hours per week in March, I came down to work 5, something like that, 5 or 6, because it takes me about 1 hour per home. And I have more or less one home per day. That's it. And then the rest of the day, I
And
have,
it's good money.
yeah, I mean, I'm making the same money that I was making when I was working there. And some months even more. So because this is a very seasonal thing. And I'm starting, man. I'm starting, and I know that the more time will pass, more companies will know about my work, and because the way you get new clients in this business, it's not that you go and knock the door. Of course, it worked for me at the beginning, but it's about your legacy. It's about how good you are. If you
Quality
are
of
good, people
work.
start, yeah, people just get to know you. Like, hey, I want you to work for me. And the moment I also started a company, but I went through the path of Kevu Uritaya, which is in English, light entrepreneur. Uh, there's many ways of making a company in Finland, but that's the way that I did it, and it's working so far so good. Yeah.
Okay. Great. So many information. It sounds so great. So I will ask another question about weather. So what do you think about Finnish weather?
Mm. So uh, I would like to say like the weather here is, I don't know, I like it, man. I like it. It's extreme, but I like it. Um, the cold is very extreme. I mean, to what I was used to because I'm coming from a tropical country and I was living in a tropical place before, so tropical to this standard. So, uh, but again, some people really have a bad time in winter here, and many foreigners have a really bad time in winter. But I had to go down to the same conclusion that I made before, that it has to do a lot with your mentality, man. Like if you come very negatively, no, it's cold, oh, I don't want to go out, oh, I don't want to do that, then you're
Yeah.
gonna have bad time. You're gonna have
Yeah.
bad time. And that's true. I have seen that. I think you also have seen this in many people. The
Yeah.
negative people are the ones that have the worst. They get depressed. They feel bad. They're all the time like, no, I hate Finland and this and that. Even Finnish people. Even Finnish. No, no, we're not. This is not only for foreigners. So you can do a lot of things. You can do a lot of things. It doesn't matter how cold it is outside, how full of snow it is, or how wet, or doesn't matter. There's always something you can do. So if you well, actually, I have this philosophy like, okay, I have to go out. I have to go out. I have to get out of here, get out of my room, get out. Being in between these walls is depressing. It's depressing, and I see how people get depressed really fast. So you gotta
True.
get out. If it's winter, I taught myself how to do cross country skiing. Uh, I failed so many times. I almost broke bones, but I did it. It's something. If I can do it, anyone can do it. Fishing also. That's something that I really liked before. And I came here and I realized that this is also really a good place to fish. I haven't stopped fishing ever since. Fishing is something you can do as long as the water is liquid. You can fish. So, so if it's not frozen, of course you cannot fish because then the lure bound. Tuk, tuk, tuk. But
Yeah, yeah, true.
you
I
can
also
fish
liked
anytime.
fishing with you. I remember I went to fish with Julio a few times, but yeah, I am lazy. I don't do that anymore.
Well, also where you're living is there's not many fishing places around, and if there is fishing
There
places
is,
around,
and there are
if there
few.
is, I wouldn't take those fish to my home.
There are small fishes, yeah, not those like salmon fish. Yeah, so for fishing those kind of fish, I think you need to go somewhere, somewhere where you can find those kind of big fish.
Yeah, I mean, I have gotten very big fish here in Vaasa. I mean, here, I'm talking about here, like maybe 10 minutes away, I got 10 kilos hauki, which is a pike.
Yeah.
What, 1 month ago? I mean, it's always nice, but I don't eat those fish. Too big. This is something. Remember, boys and girls, a big fish you don't eat. Okay, you put it back. Why? Because a big fish, it means that it's old. It means it has taken a lot of chemicals. So you don't eat a big fish. Always aim to eat something that is 3, 4 kilos. That's a sweet spot. Don't eat something that is very big because it has a lot of bad stuff in it. But yeah, that's for everywhere. And also, I have gone to places where you pay and you can fish. And but what does it mean that you pay? Of course, you have to pay your license for the whole year. But besides that license, there's some places that you go and pay because they keep fish there. They bring fish from the sea, from farms, and they put them in the lakes and the rivers.
Wow,
So, for
that's
instance, you
nice.
can, yeah, and that's very common. That's very common here in Finland. That in English that is called stock fish or stock fisheries.
Stockfish.
That those yeah, those are fish that are brought from somewhere else, and the
And how much
breed.
you pay when you go to fishing in those
It depends
places?
on the place. It depends on the place, but the breed that is mostly used, I get to the price right away. But the breed that they mostly use in Finnish is called Kyriolohi, and
Krioloi.
Kyriolohi, which is a salmonoid fish. If you look at the meat, it's just salmon. It tastes like salmon. But in English, it's called rainbow trout. It's a trout. For those that know, the trout and salmon, they are salmonoid fish, so they taste the same. They might not look the same. Some colors might be different, but they taste the same. It's the same meat. And so those are the ones that you can fish. You pay more or less, depending. For instance, 10 minutes away from Vaasa, there is a place called Kolima, a small pond that has fish on it that they have put 8 euros, 8 euros per
Oh,
fish.
8 euros.
And yeah, 8 euros. And 8 euros, it means that you can get like a 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 kilos. It doesn't matter what, one fish, 8 euros. And or if you want to go hardcore fishing, you go to the north, and north of Oulu there is a city called Tornio, and there is the Tornionjoki, the river Tornio.
Yeah,
That's kind of the paradise of fishing in Finland,
for
especially
fishing.
now at the beginning of spring and at the end of summer, because salmon. And now we're talking about salmon, not trout, not kyriolohi, salmon, lohi, salmon. comes from the Baltic Sea and go all the way north through the Tornionjoki, which is a very big river. Sometimes it's like 500 meters wide at some points. So it's a very big river. So this salmon, they go up north and you can fish it. And I have heard stories, I have seen videos on YouTube, people taking 25, 30 kilos salmon. We're talking about that's something that you cannot even fish. You cannot even cook it at once. You need to make fillet.
Yeah, true.
It's so big it won't fit. It won't fit in any oven, man. So it's
it's a
to
big
take it
fish.
out,
25
it's
kilos
so
is a
difficult.
big fish. Yeah.
It's we're talking about 30 kilos. That's a small. It's like your girlfriend fighting to you.
It would be
It's
quite
really-
expensive if you want to buy 30 kilo salmon. It would be
Oh my God!
expensive.
Yeah,
Could be
we're talking
maybe
about in the thousands.
more than 500 to 1,000 euro.
Yeah, it will be in the thousands if you want to buy a fish like that.
Yeah.
And people sell it also. That I know a couple of guys that they live with it, like they fish. I mean, it's just my hobby. I don't do it that much, but I don't do it to the point that I'm gonna live with it, like I do with photography.
Yeah.
But some people do it. But yeah, it's if we have to come down to the weather, that's it, man. You just find something to do, and you're gonna have a good time. You're gonna enjoy every season. Every season here is beautiful, man. Let's say the only one that I don't like is the one that is about to come. And for those that doesn't know, the one that is about to come is fall, autumn. So that's the only one that I don't like that much because it's very wet and dark, and sometimes cold and windy. But the rest of the seasons are really nice. And now I have learned to embrace and love the wind because lately I also started, because I have a lot of free time right now. So I also started to do sailing. I got my sailboat on.
I used to remember you told me that you used to sail in your country, like home country.
Yeah, a little bit, yeah. And it's always been in the back of my head, like, oh, I want to get one. But sometimes
But
you're
how
poor, you
about
cannot
this
do stuff.
water? This isn't it cold water in Finland?
Ooh,
When you sail,
it
how do you
depends.
feel? It's a cold
It feels
water.
good, man. It feels good. It depends. Okay, I'll give you an example. I'll give you my experience. I got my sailboat in, when was it? In June, 26th of June this year. And I went to Sweden to take it. I bought it in Sweden and I sailed it from Sweden. And that was the first time in my life that I sailed a big boat alone.
Alone, and you came from Sweden to Vaasa? How?
I came from a city called Sundsvall in Sweden to Vaasa, straight. 60 degrees on the compass, straight.
How long?
32 hours.
How long?
32 hours.
32 hours. Oh my God. That's really interesting thing. And
yeah, but it's not that bad. It's not that bad because you're moving pretty much your house through the water. So you have bed, you have kitchen, you have toilet, you have everything there. So it doesn't really matter if it's like 2 hours, 3 hours, 3 days, 7 weeks. It doesn't matter, man. You have everything you need there.
So how expensive
Hello,
is that?
can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
That's the other thing. I thought it was expensive, but no way, man. Other hobbies are way more. Photography is way more expensive. Way more expensive. Motorcycles are way more expensive. This is a hobby that I end up like when I realize the prices of the boats, the price of maintaining the boat, and the price of keeping the boat in the water, out of the water, and everything. It's not that expensive though. And we're talking about like if you already have the boat, if you already have like a normal boat that is like 10 meters long or something, I don't know, like mine. So if you already have a boat, maybe in the year, in expenses is 500 euros.
500 euros in a year.
In the year, yeah, in the year, and that's with the boat already. Okay, if you already have the boat, it means that every year you know that you will spend 500 euros in your hobby.
And it's with the insurance and with everything. Okay.
everything, even spare parts, things that you might fix, putting the boat into the water, taking it off, paying the Benepike, which is the pier or the marina, paying
Yeah.
everything is it's about 500 euros per year.
Yeah.
It's
But
not that expensive.
it sounds expensive for me. Okay.
Yeah, but you're talking about what do you have there? A camera. Your lens is like twice that price. So I mean, your headphones
Yeah.
might be the
But
price of that. You know, it's like
yeah, of course, photography is expensive hobby, but you buy once, you buy lens once, you buy a camera once. Not you don't pay every year 500. Am I
yeah,
correct?
but
Yeah,
yeah,
but
but
of
you have
course
to
it depends
you
on
have to
the
think about
yeah.
you have to think about something because I'm trying to enlighten you
Yeah.
so you
I
see what
understood,
I
and
see.
that it depends on
So
the people, on person to
yeah, it
person.
depends on what you like, of course.
If
But
it's your hobby,
remember,
because hobby, you if you have an expensive hobby, of course, why not? If you like
when you
something,
when you buy when you buy a camera lens, let's say, you use it a couple of times, you like it and all that. When you have a boat, you live in it.
yeah, yeah, that is
It
true.
becomes your
Yeah,
home.
this is a luxurious thing, of course. I believe
Yeah,
that.
that's the difference. Yeah, it's
Okay,
your
Julio,
house.
let me come to
Yeah,
you with another things.
tell
Language
me.
barriers, language, Finnish language, or maybe language barriers. Would you like to say something about Finnish language?
There's a lot to be said about Finnish. Well, as I said before, when I came, I thought that Finnish was a weird German or like that it could be easy or very related to English, like a Germanic language, which is not true. For those that are listening to us and doesn't know this, Finnish is it's an Ugric language.
Yeah,
It means that it comes from the Ural Mountains, and in the world there's only like five group of people that speak Ugric language. I think it's the Sami, the Estonians, the Hungarians, the Finnish, and maybe four. Okay, four. I don't think there's a five. There's
I
four
think it
people that
could be
speak that language.
Hungary. Hungary,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
have.
that's it. I mentioned it before. So there's not many places you can use. I mean, even Finnish itself. Finland is a country of 5 million people. So you're learning a language that is only used by 0.001% of the world. So,
Yeah,
so
true.
that from the beginning is very challenging, man, to wrap your head around. It's like, is it useful? Is it worth it? I mean,
To
many
learn a
people
new
also
language. Yeah,
no, not to learn a new language. It is worth it. And for those looking at us, learn a new language, man. Do it. That's something that's going to open so many doors. But when you are deciding which language do you want to learn and you came across Finnish, if you're not in Finland, you are not going to learn it. I mean, the only way you're going to learn Finnish because you're in Finland or you have some ties in Finland. So again, as you know, I think you have mentioned this before in your videos. Finland is a bilingual country. So you can either learn Swedish or Finnish
yeah.
in order to do the language test for the
Citizenship.
citizenship. So if you want to go with Swedish, that's the easy way. Easy. I know people 6 months from zero, they speak from zero to Uki in 6 months. Swedish.
Yeah,
Finnish, it can take some years. We're talking about years. And if you really want to pass the Uki test, I think the average, I know that there's a couple of genius people there that can learn in 6 months. I have seen it. I have seen it. But if you want to take the language course and you're an average person just like me, it's gonna take you 1 to 2 years. And for those that are, I want to be honest to the people that are listening to us. If you are planning to speak fluently, to have a conversation with someone where you don't use a word of English and you express all your ideas and emotion in Finnish, easily 2 years, easily. So why? And I will say like the reason why this language is so hard It's because the structure of the language is different to any other Latin, Greek, or Indo-European descendant language. Is completely different. Even, well, you speak Bengali.
Yeah.
Bengali comes from Sanskrit, and Sanskrit it's the basis of many languages in Europe.
Yeah.
Sanskrit is the basis also of Latin and many other languages. So we all have the same structure. Even in Bengali, we all have the same structure, like substantive, verb, complement, substantive, verb, complement. We have that structure that it helps us to learn a new language. In my case, I speak Spanish. That's my mother tongue. Learning English, easy, because English and Spanish they can be translated exactly word by word and place by place, and they will still mean the same. Finnish, no. It's a completely different logic. Finnish, you have to compound words. Finnish, you have to build with prefix and suffix the words. By prefix, I mean that at the beginning you put something, at the end you put something. In the middle, it's the core word, the perus sano, or the perus monto, as they say in Finnish. So Finnish is, you have to conjugate words. So there is about I was checking the other day, about 70 something different ways of conjugating a word in Finnish. So we're talking about not the only the normal like genitivi, ablativi, illativi, those are like the basic ones. We're talking about that there are like 70 ways of doing that. And of course you don't get to not even the Finnish people get to learn all the 70, but
Yeah, I think so.
They master most of them. And the other problem with this language is the way that you are taught and the way that you speak it on the street, completely different. Completely different. The puhukieli or the speak language is different, and it changed from region to region. So we all know, like, or if you don't know the numbers, like uksi, kaksi, kolme, ukako.
Short form.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's something that requires a little bit of practice, but of course you have to start with the basics. You have to learn the core, the core meanings and everything. Yeah. And lastly, what makes this language hard is like every word is new. They have few words that they have recycled from English or other languages, like body, like boozy, like those words. Yeah. Boozy, the boss, and those words are recycled, okay? But those are like 5% of Finnish, let's say. The whole rest is new words. So it requires that we need to memorize a lot of new words. The good thing about that is that Finnish is not, I would regard Finnish as a primitive language if we have to compare it to other languages such as English or, let's say, any other Germanic or Latin language. It's a primitive language in the sense that the dictionary is very small. So they have to recycle a lot of words. One word can mean many things, which is good for us that we are learning. That is good. But it is a primitive language. But let's say so far, I think I speak like already almost C1, almost. Because when I pass the Uki test, that will be it when I get the C1 score. But it's really hard. Requires a lot of practice, but it can be done. And once you speak it, it's easy. You can keep it there as long as you practice it. It's once you know it, it's not that bad. Yeah.
So Julio, I will ask you last question. Okay. It's not a question actually. So it's like, do you have any advice to the new students or newcomers who are planning to come for studying in Finland or who wants to move to Finland?
Oh, well, I will say like before, as I said before, and sorry to repeat this so much because I really want to make emphasis that the journey is not the same for everyone. Because when I came here, I came with a different background than you, for instance. Journey is not the same, but there's certain things that we can accept that it's valuable for everyone. Such as if you're coming to Finland, it will be good. One of the first thing that I will say, like if you're coming to Finland, it will be good that you make up your mind. You decide, am I staying or am I leaving? Because your decisions in Finland uh, will change depending on the answer to that question. Am I staying? Okay, start with the Finnish from the earliest you can. Okay, let's say you come in, doesn't matter where you come, there's always a course. There's always a course you can take somewhere, even online. Now that everything is online, there's always a course. So if you plan to stay, learn the language from the very beginning. If you're going to study, if you're coming to a master's or a bachelor's, the most important class that you will have in your curriculum will be your Finnish class. And I'm not saying like, okay, no, it's not important. No, it will be, because at the moment of getting a job, that will be the difference of getting it or not. So I will tell everyone that is coming, if you decide to stay, start with the language early. Don't be like Julio, that he wastes 2 years partying and having fun until he realized that he had to learn Finnish. So second thing, like you already decide, if you come just for studying and then you're leaving, okay, let it be. You don't need to learn it. Everyone speak English, and for the moment you're gonna be here, you're not gonna have a bad time. And second one that I will tell you, if you're coming to Finland, this is the same as if you are going to your friends or to a family place. Okay? When you knock the door of that place, you see that they take off their shoes, you take off your shoes. If they tell you sit down there and wait, you sit down there and wait. If they serve you food, you don't like it, politely you say I don't like it, you just don't throw it to the floor, okay? And this is an analogy that I give. It's like you're coming to Finland, learn about the culture here. Don't come and try to change things as they are just because you're here. And if you really come here and you want to make people, you don't understand many of the things that Finnish people do, or you don't understand the culture itself, you're gonna have a bad time. And it can even be dangerous to you. Uh, you're coming to Finland, learn about Finland, try to be a positive, immersive, and learn about what are the models and what are the things and how life is supposed to be done here. Of course, we all come, we all have a learning curve, but try to be proactive and learn at least the language and the customs. Because if you don't learn the customs, or let's say the language, let's leave that because we already talked about it. But if you learn the customs, you're gonna have a bad time. You're gonna have a bad time making friends. You're gonna have a bad time living here, being accepted by the society, which is another thing. If you're coming and planning to stay here after your studies, be proactive, and try to be a little bit open-minded. I know that everyone has their own religion, their own politics, but try to be open-minded. That would be the third thing that I would say. Try to be open-minded. You are not anymore in a country where they kill you for opening your mouth. Okay, this is a free
True.
country. This is a free
Yeah.
country. This is a place where you can express yourself, but do it politely. Okay, that's another thing. Be polite. But I will say that, yeah.
Yeah, so viewers, today we learned so many things from Julio, my friend. He's one of the expert person nowadays. I would say he knows so many things. He already learned from Finland, so now we can learn from him. Okay, so I guess you already hear all of this from today's video. So hopefully this video will help you to your journey to Finland. Okay, so yeah, thank you for watching this video. I will thank you, Julio, for giving your valuable time to my YouTube subscriber, to my viewers, so who are watching this video. So I will request everyone to watch this video from the beginning to the end, so you can learn so many things about Finland, about culture, about Vaasa, about living, about how to build your career or entrepreneurship or business things. So Yeah, also I learned something from Julio today. It's always something learning. That's the life. You have to learn every second in your life, every minute, and that's how you progress in your life. So guys, yeah, thank you for watching this video. And if you like my video, please thumbs up. And if you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing to my channel. So see you in my next video. Take care and bye bye.